What is happening, everyone? That was a good and complete game that I would say that the Seahawks just did against the Dolphins, especially with the defense. I'm very proud of the defense, especially with the starters that we were missing. I want to say Jamal Adams was out, and Dunlap was also out as well. And Nico Thorpe, I want to say, was out for the defense. So we were pretty injury riddled on that side of the ball. And despite that, we kept Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins offense out of the end zone for pretty much all game except for, later in the fourth quarter when Ryan ran the ball in. But I felt like by that time it was, garbage time. But, at the same time, I give credit to Miami for staying in the game. This was one of those games you always hear about, trap games, especially when it comes to good teams. And the Seahawks, as long as I've been a Seahawks fan, I feel like we're notorious for, beating teams that we may not be expected to win against, and then all of a sudden dropping the ball against teams that, we should win against. And thankfully that didn't happen today. But I will say, and I felt like this way with the previous three games, that if for whatever reason the Seahawks, regardless of how well we've played, if we let the game slip away and the other team, in this case the Dolphins, happen to win, in my opinion, we deserve to lose that game. So thankfully that didn't happen today, but I promise you that if we, for whatever reason, if we happen to have lost today's game, that more likely would have been the first thing that would have came out of my mouth if for this particular video. But thankfully, instead of 3-1, we are 4-0, still undefeated. And hopefully, going into next week, I know we have a Sunday night game versus the Vikings out here back in Seattle, and hopefully we can, do what we need to do. Hopefully the Seahawks can just take care of business and be 5-0. Which I think would put us in really good shape going into the bye week after next week's Sunday night game. So we'll see. It's a long season ahead, but I don't remember the last time a Pete Carroll Seahawks team has started 4-0, and I actually don't remember the last time, like even before that, the Mike Holmgren era, where we started 4-0. Like someone would have to maybe do some research for me on that. But I know the last time we were 3-0, especially with Russell Wilson at quarterback and Pete Carroll as the head coach, we went all the way to the Super Bowl and took it to the house against the Denver Broncos. So totally different team than it was for our 2013 team. This time around, as we all know, is a Russell Wilson led team who I would still, even with the 2 touchdowns, is still MVP in the MVP leading that race. And it's still crazy to me to think of this Seahawks team when it comes to even Russell Wilson, that before this game he was averaging either 4 or 5 touchdowns a game and, leading, I want to say, the league in passer rating, which Russell Wilson has always been on in my opinion, the elite level. But just, for him to be putting up what I would call video game numbers is crazy to me. So for me to even say the phrase of today's game of only 2 touchdowns, like it wasn't that long ago, even last season, where us fans would be like, 2 touchdowns for us is still a really good game. So I think that's just a testament to, Schottenheimer and Pete Carroll for, letting Russ do his thing and letting Russ cook. I did like the balance I saw with the running game, and I'm glad Chris Carson, I know he went down for a second, and I think he missed the rest of the first half, but he came back and had the rest, a pretty solid game. Got a rushing touchdown, and I know I want to say he caught a pass for a touchdown this game. So Russell Wilson, once again, continues to show the NFL and the rest of the world of why he needs to keep cooking and keep this team on the winning side of things. But I'm really glad with what I saw on both sides of the ball. This was, if not the most complete game I've seen the Seahawks play this season, definitely top 2. But this might have been one of the more complete games, maybe with the exception of the the game they played against the Falcons. That one we won pretty handily. But all these games, and nothing against the teams we played, some pretty legit quarterbacks, especially when it comes to, Cam Newton and even Matt Ryan, and even an explosive offense with the Cowboys. But it'll be interesting, to see how our defense improves as the season comes along once we get Jamal Adams back. But outside of that, 4-0 is a great place to be. After all these rest of these games are completed today and tomorrow, it's going to be interesting to see who's still in the undefeated category. So 4-0, hopefully we can keep it 5-0 and take it as far as we can go. But continue to let Russ cook. And I feel like we can go all the way this year, but we'll see. Long season ahead. But yeah, once again, this is me reporting in, Dwayne Andrews Jr. Go Hawks.